Okay, we'll go ahead and call Board of Works and Safety meeting to order. It is 5:00 p.m. on Tuesday, March 26th, 2024. Roll call, please.
Rego.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Daniel.
Here. In front of you are the minutes from our last meeting on March 12th. Were there any changes or corrections? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous. Next up on our agenda is the unsafe building hearing. Craig, come on up.
Yeah, this hearing is in regard to the property at 401 South Main Street, under the ownership of the AACE Enterprises. We got a complaint on this actually a couple months ago, since there'd been no attempt to repair it. We went ahead and wrote an order on it. It is the gray block two-story building on that property. Several issues with the unsafe building order that makes it specifically apply here. Specifically, the roof needs replaced, blocks in the walls and gables are missing mortar and the joints. To sufficiently support the block, keep them in place, gable and wall blocks and caps are missing. Windows broken and missing, and accumulation of debris on the south side that needs to be removed. The order is to seal the building against unauthorized people, remove the trash, debris, and fire hazardous material from the premises, and bring the building into compliance. I did make a notation in the order that since the repairs needed likely exceed the value of the structure, demolition of the building may be a more economical solution for compliance with this building. 60 days from the date of this order as required by state statute, or more specifically May 6th of 2024. This hearing is to allow any interested persons to challenge the order, ask for extensions, or give more information to the board.
The owner was notified of this hearing.
Yes. Yeah, they have to be by state law, they got to be notified. We sent registered mail and it's got the signed card back.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And the owner is, from what I can see, not here. However, would you like us to open up the floor then? Okay.
Yeah, we're required to, see if
Okay.
anybody wants to have any comments on it, for or against.
Okay, so we will open up the floor to any comments, concerns, or thoughts regarding the unsafe building hearing, or unsafe building at 401 South Main Street. Would anybody like to speak? Gary, do you want to have a comment?
Sure.
Okay.
I also spoke to the owner several months back, took photos of the building itself, and told him that he needs to get something done with it. And again, like Craig said, there's been no attempt to even do anything with it.
Okay. Anybody else that would like to add comments? Okay, hearing none, what is the next step, Craig?
For the board to approve the order.
Okay,
Yep,
and you would like that tonight?
please.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the unsafe building order for 401 South Main Street as presented.
Second.
Motion seconded. Further discussion? Those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous.
All right,
Okay?
that's all I have tonight, unless the board has questions of me.
What's next step?
60 days
60
on
days,
March
yeah.
this, or I'm sorry, May the
May the
6th, I
6th.
believe I just said. No, if there is no progress or, well, if it's not complied with at that time, the order requires completion by this May the 6th. This was his chance to ask for extension to the order or modify it in some way. Since there's been no request for that, we will go to that next point, which is after May the 6th, we will advertise for bids for demolition, and then we will bring those to the board after that.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to move some things around a little bit because we have an audience here, and so I'm going to go to the encroachment agreements, if that's okay, Rosie and board. Okay, so the first one up is Gerald and Tiffany Robinson. Here, come on up. Let me try to get to yours real quick here. Looks like that is at 727 North Long Ridge Road.
Yes.
Right? Okay, I know I just said it, but for the record, will you state your name and address?
Yes, so this is Gerald Robinson. The address is 727 North Long Ridge Road.
Tiffany Robinson, 727 North Long Ridge Road.
Thank you. It appears that you would like to put a fence up, privacy fence?
Yes.
Correct, okay. And it looks like it's pretty much in line with where your house is, just going back.
Yes.
Right.
And it was 6-foot privacy on the sides and the back. We were going to do 4-foot picket, so it would be open with a 4-foot, or I think he had a 5-foot gate in the back
Okay.
along that back line too.
Gotcha, okay. Department heads, any utility concerns for Robinsons? No? Okay. Any concerns for the Board of Works regarding this?
No, like I say, just making sure we don't have any utilities back there behind. This time, we don't have anything back there. And if there is, understand that, if something needs to be repaired, then that fence will have to be taken down, basically.
No problem.
Your expense.
Yeah, no problem.
But,
Yeah, typically, if for some reason we do have to get into that easement for emergency purposes or whatever,
Okay.
obviously if it's not an emergency, we'll let you know in advance, give you a
Okay.
chance to take it down. If it is an emergency, we'll take it down as gently as we can, and then it'll be up to you to replace it at your dime.
Right, no
Okay,
problem.
But I just like to be transparent about that
No
ahead of
problem.
time so that you're aware of that, so, but at the moment, I don't see any concern. Any concern? Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the encroachment agreement for 727 North Long Ridge Road as presented.
I'll second.
Motion seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous. Rosie, tell them what's next.
Okay, we will get this back to the planning tomorrow.
Okay.
And then you just need to go back over there and finish the process.
Okay, no problem.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
Guys,
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much. Next up is the encroachment agreement for 301 North Line Street. Name and address, please.
Rachel Whitty, 301 North Line Street.
Okay, and also looks like some kind of a fence?
Yes.
Privacy fence?
Yes.
Okay. And so, it looks like to me, I was kind of looking at it earlier today, and the map is a little more, do you have the map for that? Because it's kind of hard to see on that. Okay, thank you. Okay. So the only concern I will say that I had about the privacy fence there is the line of sight coming from Jefferson onto, as you're coming up to Line Street, making sure we can see both ways, especially people that are eastbound looking to the north, if you will, making sure that there's a clear line of sight there. I think if you stay back, it looks like you're staying back about a car length-ish from the actually, about a car length-ish from the sidewalk, which is usually, I think, a pretty good line of sight. Gary, do you have anything on that specifically you'd like to share?
Yeah, again, I'm with you, because there was a fence up there at one time, and we had several complaints, and actually asked them to take it down at one point, and because it was blocking the line of
Okay.
sight.
So I think honestly, go ahead.
How tall was that fence?
I don't,
Does that say? I didn't see it.
does it say that on the actual map? Do you know what
I want to do a 6-foot.
a 6 foot?
Well, that's what I was.
Okay. The line of sight on the side.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was thinking if it was like 3 or 4 feet, then the cars probably wouldn't have too much issue, but if it's is it a solid fence or is it,
I'm looking at it being a solid fence, yeah.
is that extended into the right of way, obviously?
Well, so I guess my only thing, Rachel, is, I'm trying to get there really quick. There it is. My only thing in regards to that is, and I know kind of, because you have those two sidewalks that come to an angle going toward Line Street, you know what I'm saying? Personally, I think if you could keep the fence lined up with the front of your house and not go further into that triangle, do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, that would be
Like, if you
perfect.
can keep it lined up with the end of your house, like make it parallel there, I don't think you're gonna have a line of sight issue. If you go further than that, I think it starts to get into line of sight a little bit, but I'm personally fine with the idea of having it kind of line up right with the east end of your house, if
Okay.
that makes sense. The rest of it, I don't the rest of it's fine with me, but that end is the one I care most about. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like if it was a straight line from the house going down toward Jefferson Street, I think it would create enough line of sight space for cars coming on Jefferson, going both ways on line personally.
Looks like
So,
that goes into the right of way.
yeah, because the way it's drawn, it's a little unclear, so that's the only, again, that's why I just want to make sure. Gary, you think that's fine from a police side?
Yeah, I think so. I'm sitting here looking at Google
Yeah.
Earth right now. And I apologize, Rachel, it was the house across the street from the metal fence.
Yeah,
That's okay.
yeah. So, do we have any utility issues? I guess I should have asked that earlier. Utility issues along there? No? No problem, okay. Same kind of deal is, assuming we pass it, is that if for some reason we have to get into that easement, we'll work as nice as we can, and then it'll be up to you to replace it or repair it, I mean, so. Any other issues from the board on that? Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the encroachment agreement with 301 North Line Street with the caveat that the easternmost portion of the fence lines up with the house
The front of the house.
perimeter, or that, the edge of the house, I'll say it that way.
That's good.
I will second.
Motion seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous. And you heard what the next process is. Okay. Great,
Right.
thanks, Rachel.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of the day.
You too.
Thank you. Okay, so now we'll kind of go back to street closings. Thank you for being patient with me. First is Show and Shine Car and Truck Show. Did we see this last time? Or am I just, maybe you showed it to me when I was in, okay. So, there is a map now, Tom. Did you see the map?
Yes, I should.
Yeah, they showed a map of where they're having it, but they didn't put it, we still don't know if they have any structures.
Any structures? Okay. For those that have been, has anybody actually seen it or been there for their show? Yes. And are there typically tents or structures of any sort?
Usually have all their vendors inside the shop.
They're actually inside the building?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
the
So,
times I've been there for the show.
so you don't recognize that, you don't think that
Trucks are
there's been
outside.
any actual membrane structures or tents or anything that you can remember?
No.
Okay, so maybe it's a scenario that we, as long as you guys are okay, that we approve it with caveat that if there is any tents or anything, they have to get it approved ahead of time.
Yeah.
So how does that work with, Farmers Market?
Not that, we're on the other one. Go this way. Yeah. We're at the shine, keep going.
Right. Oh, okay, also.
Keep going.
Okay.
No, no, keep going. We're on that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's the what's it called?
Show, shine, or-
The Show and Shine car and truck show. This is over on Indian Avenue.
Oh, okay.
That's okay, that's okay.
I'm too old, I guess.
Okay, any other concerns about that? Because I think usually I think we tell them they have to notify the neighbors in advance,
Yep.
so. But have you had any
They've done it the last
conversation?
couple of years and we haven't had any issues.
Any issues? Okay. Okay, well then I'll make a motion, we approve the Show and Shine Car Truck Show as presented with two caveats. One, that they notify the neighbors of the event at least 2 weeks in advance. And number two, that if there are any kind of tents or other structures besides what's already there, that they get those approved in advance by the chief of fire chief.
Well, question.
Yes.
Are they gonna have any, like, diesel or, engine performance? With the neighbors, gonna be,
Yes.
like demonstrations?
So they have in the past, as I remember, or at least as I remember it's being presented in the past, which is why we said that they had to notify the neighbors. But you said we've not gotten any issues from the neighbors in the past? Okay.
Okay.
So-
I've seen some of those take off, it's pretty amazing. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. As long as they're not tearing up the streets and the neighbors are okay with it, I don't have a problem with it. So I made a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous. Next up is the pod placement, street closing permit. So this is for unloading furniture, a move-in of, I think, one of the apartments up top. Is that right, Gary?
Yep.
And it would be right along the edge of the sidewalk there, the east parking spot in front of 111 East Van Buren Street. So it'd be right up against basically right up against the building there, correct?
Yeah, it'd be in that parking stall,
Mhm.
it'd be to the furthest east in that, there's 2 stalls there, they want the east one.
The east, yeah, that makes sense. Is there any concern about line of sight with the alleyway? Or do you think there's enough clearance that they can kind of get past that and not be in traffic?
Yeah, I think there's enough clearance because there's been larger vehicles sitting there, we've
Yeah.
never had an issue, so.
Well, if I remember right, I think doesn't the street bow out after that?
Yeah.
Or bow in, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
so,
Once you get past that, it bows.
yeah, it's not as wide.
So it's
it
actually better in that spot than it was
Than the other
they originally
spot.
wanted the front spot, but.
Yeah, that makes sense, okay. Okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns? I'll make a motion, we approve the street closing permit request for the east parking space in front of 111 East Van Buren Street as presented.
Second.
Motion seconded, further discussion. All those in favor show with the usual sign. It is unanimous. Thank you. Next up, the Whitley County Farmers Market. Come on up.
I'll get the right one.
Name and
Hi,
address.
my name's Aurelia Slusher, and then do you need my personal address or the farmer's market?
You can do either.
Okay, the PO Box 634, Columbia City, Indiana 46725 for the farmer's market.
Okay.
And then I'm here, same closure as it was last year, the full closure of Chauncey Street there by the courthouse, and then just a partial closure for Market Street there along the courthouse.
The parking stalls.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Are you guys doing anything on the north side of the courthouse along Van Buren Street?
No.
No, nothing there. Okay. So that's fine. Have you been contacted at all by the county? Okay. So every year, it always seems to be an issue, but every year, the very first Saturday you guys open is the Saturday prior to the election. And
Okay.
so there's that driveway that goes up to the courthouse
Yes.
itself. The county likes to have that open.
Okay.
Because then individuals can come and pick up, I'm assuming machines or something, there's something that they're doing during
Okay.
that timeframe. So, one thing I would ask is that you work with the county on figuring out that,
Okay.
the logistics of that.
Okay.
Whether it's, we're gonna bring them up through the alleyway and we'll, kind of create a
Yeah.
stall or something. Is that what we did last year, do you remember?
No, but I was contacted by Commissioner Banks.
Okay.
We talked a little bit about that, going straight through there. If we
Yep.
could just clean that off, maybe they can go straight.
Kind of create a driving path
Correct.
through the alley, if you will.
Yeah.
So anyway, so if you could get in touch with the county commissioners, their coordinator is Cammie Hippenhammer. I think that would be beneficial for both parties.
Okay,
Just to get, and it's really, again, it's only the very first
That first
one.
day, yeah.
The only other time it wouldn't even be, it would be an issue in the fall because you guys are closed by that time, so.
yeah.
So the hours of your actual farmer's market is, it's gonna be like the 8 to noon or what?
Yeah, so still 8 a.m. to 12:30,
12:30,
but
okay.
probably, I think I put on the form, 6 a.m. to 1.
Mhm. Yes, okay. Then the only other thing I have is, you guys are probably aware of Prism Fest that we've approved already, that's on 6/1, but that's after you guys have already closed up shop.
Okay,
So I
yeah,
think they're 1 to something in their closure, so, and it'll be utilizing basically the same space, but
okay,
just so that you're aware of that, we've already approved that street
Okay.
closure. But again, shouldn't conflict with they actually specifically said it won't conflict with farmers
okay,
markets.
yeah,
so.
great. I had a couple questions.
Oh, yeah, go
Yes,
ahead.
okay, I know in the past, we put out the road blockades, and then sometimes, I think the fire department did. Moving forward, whose responsibility is that?
No, I think it was the police department.
police?
but
Okay.
That's why the big one.
Okay.
So, I mean, ultimately, usually we get those barricades out so that when you guys come in, you guys can get them set up. 'cause
Okay.
again, it's a regular thing, so.
Right.
That's our preference. Am I speaking out of turn
Well, we can set them up and take them down.
Okay.
But Chris in the past has always just said, hey, if you get them out here, we'll set them up and we'll take them down.
Yeah, yeah.
Lean them on the side of the building down.
Lean them on the side of the building of like City Hall?
Yeah. and
Okay.
usually put them back in the garage.
Can do that.
But if that's the same thing you want to do, we can put them up or we can take them down, whatever you want to do.
Okay, yeah,
If you
if
wanna-
you're able to pick them up and take them down, that would be
We'll work together, how's that?
That sounds good.
All right.
And then also I was curious about, what would be an appropriate way if we're able to like mark on the sidewalks, spaces and vendor numbers for the season. So then we have about 75 spaces in the past.
Kelly, pay attention.
So that would be a little confusing if there was a way that you prefer these markings.
Yeah. So Kelly, I don't know if you have comments about that. I mean, ultimately, we don't love the idea of paint,
Yeah.
right? Chalk is obviously our more preferred method because it rains and stuff, but it does mean you'll have to, you know, now we may get weeks where you don't have to do anything because it
Right.
doesn't rain and you're good to go. But preferentially, we would like it to be chalk just
Okay.
so that it doesn't, so we don't have paint issues, if you
Right.
will. But is that, anything else that you?
No, that makes sense.
So, and probably should do it on the actual road, not on the sidewalk, or even on the curb would maybe even be better,
Okay.
if you can. But because it's the county courthouse square,
Right.
I'd be more, you know, I'd work on the curbing part of that more than anything
Right.
else, so.
Okay, so chalk would be approved.
Yeah, I would say chalk is okay.
Okay. That's all I have.
Okay, Rosie, did you have something?
I just had a note that she needed to ask about.
Oh, that chalk, gotcha. Okay, any other questions regarding farmer's market? Okay?
Mayor, two things.
Yes.
And we've worked with you in the past,
Oh,
on the
good.
20-foot fire
Yes.
lane down the center.
Yes.
And we've talked about you can put things down the center as long as they're easily movable in case we need to make access.
Yeah.
And number two, I noticed that on Market Street westbound, there's been last year specifically, there were some very large trucks, 4 doors with the 8-foot beds, and you're not using the angled parking, you're backing them straight into the curb, which pushes westbound traffic into the eastbound lanes. Is there any way you could monitor that and maybe move those larger vehicles that extend beyond what would normally be a parking area around the corner and put some of the shorter vehicles around on Market?
Yeah, I'll definitely look out for that. It's just if they're past the parking spaces though, you said? Yeah,
When you start to get in the driving lane, it
Right.
starts to create some traffic issues,
Yeah.
especially knowing that that's really one of the ways that people get in and out of the farmer's
Right.
market, so.
right, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
I will
makes sense.
definitely keep an eye out for that. I know that there are some larger ones that want to be on that road, but like Brazel's, how they like put themselves like right along the sidewalk. But if I see anybody, or not, put out a big notice for that as well.
Yeah, and I noticed too that they're not parking their wheels up against the curb, which you can push them out even further, so then
Yeah.
you got that entire vehicle sticking out. So
Yeah.
if you could be cognizant of that, that would
Yeah.
be great.
Yeah, I will send out a big email and then I will walk through, at least the first couple of weeks and make sure that everyone's following that.
Okay.
Great, thank you, Ryan. Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the Whitley County Farmers Market street closing permit request as presented.
I'll second.
Motion seconded, further discussion. All those in favor should be the usual sign, it is unanimous. Great, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, next up is the bid award for the fire truck. Tom,
Mike's here as well from the truck committee. We reviewed the bid, actually, Mike and Toby and Gardner, Zach Gardner, reviewed that bid in great detail. We spoke with the manufacturer, and Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, there were some things that we kind of missed, and they kind of pointed out to us, and some things that they had on the bid that they missed, that we spoke with them. Yesterday, I came and spoke with the mayor because I received a final kind of, I guess I'd call it a punch list, or
a
whatever you
true
call
up,
it.
yeah,
Huh?
a true up.
A true up of it. In order to stay with the stainless steel body, which has a 20-year warranty versus an aluminum body, which is a 10-year, it would increase our price of that truck about $8,000. The mayor and I we looked at that, and the truck committee also recommends that we stay with that. So I didn't have the exact amount. Mayor, did you? I didn't figure it out. I had it, but I didn't bring it with me.
I'm sorry?
I had it, but didn't bring it with me.
Well, I was gonna say, the only thing you sent that to me, didn't you?
Yeah.
I can probably find that real quick. So the,
First time.
so yeah, the actual bid was the $1,058,298, right? That was the original bid, right?
Yes.
So then, let me get there real quick.
Sorry, I left it in my
That's
office.
okay. tell you in a second.
We do this once every 10 years.
So it's an additional $8,522 as my number shows. And that's assuming, I just want to make sure I understand, is with the other things that was listed on there, everything else we're going by, just the difference is that last $13,000 number, correct?
Correct.
All the changes in that?
Correct.
Okay, okay, so yes, that adds an additional $8,522, which we decided was what, 0.8%?
Yeah, 0.8 of 1% of the overall cost of the truck.
Yes. So, and again, we're talking about a 10-year extension of a warranty. That makes a lot of sense to me on a $1 million truck, spending $8,000 more, which sounds like a lot of money, but in totality of $1 million, it's again less than 1%. So, I can do that math real quick to tell you how much the actual ends up is. Let's see. So I got $1,066,820.
And we're still gonna have to buy
Equipment.
equipment.
Yes. Keep in mind, 650 calendar days of lead time on this. As you both know, is our plan is to do a lease program of some sort with this. So it's not, we have to cut a check for $1,066,000. And especially because we'll have the truck over a 20-year lifespan, it makes a lot of sense to go that route anyways from a financing perspective. So yes, the equipment that goes on the truck will be in addition to that number. Yes. That same truck, the last time we went out for bid was what, 10 years ago, 8 years ago? 600 and something thousand, I thought, wasn't it? That's with equipment, I thought, but,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the truck itself was just over 500.
yep. So we basically doubled in price in 10 years. So,
So you have a paperwork?
do you have that, you didn't, I told you not to bring that, didn't I?
You told me I didn't need to print it.
I will, let me do something real quick. Let me see if I can load it into the Dropbox.
I got it in a text message, I could ask to have it emailed. He was out of the office when he got it, so he was not able to email it, he didn't have my email address.
I have it in an email if
Okay.
you want me to send it.
I just, you should have it in your Dropbox if your Dropbox is actually working, Rosie. But I did upload the change order into your Dropbox, into the Board of Works and Council.
Okay.
So anyways,
So,
is that what you need?
well, yeah, what are we signing? Don't we have to sign?
Well, we have to award the bid
Yeah.
because we're within that, remember, we gotta stay within that 30-day period. But I don't know that, are we actually signing a bid, that big?
Yeah, if we have to, you have the copy of it, don't you? You have-
I do, but I don't have anything you're talking about changing.
Do you have that sales?
That's the
agreement
email the mayor
contract?
just, I could send it to him.
That's the part they want,
The
or you have to tack on $25,000 more.
Well, yes, yeah. So the sales, like, again, I just put in your Dropbox the sales change order that I was just talking about. It's in your Dropbox right now.
Oh, okay, the wrong thing. No, I don't have that with me.
Okay.
Mayor, did you want me to forward that to her on an email as well?
I mean, I can do that too. Do that right now to you, Rosie, in your email. Marcia, I'll send it to you.
Well,
Unless
it's
you
in the
got it in
Dropbox.
Dropbox. Okay.
It's just taking a while to get to everything.
Okay, that's okay. Okay, I just sent it to your email, Rosie.
Yeah, well, at least by the 28th.
Yeah.
Which is Friday?
So again, just as a reminder, this is the truck plus what the fire department went through and looked at, needed to clarify, needed to delete or add, and those kind of things. So the very last thing is what we're talking about with the 20-year warranty, right? The 13,788. So if you take the 5266, which is the bottom number, the minus number at the very bottom, and then you add back the 13,788, that's where I got the 8,522 additional onto the truck. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Okay? Do you have something for us to sign if we agree?
Well, I don't have the change thing that you guys are talking about. I don't have it printed. I'd have to go print it out. but
Okay.
It's gotta be
Well,
done
that's-
by Thursday.
Well, that's fine, yes, but I sent it to you by email, but I mean, I can sign off on that, if you will. I can sign off on that, so.
I do have the.
I can do that afterwards.
Fire truck.
Say what?
Thank you.
Yeah,
They have the bid.
so again, we want to award the bid with the change, with the noted change order, and I can sign off on the change order. That's what it was. Right. Is that okay with you guys?
Are you worried about it?
Okay.
Is your kitchen going
I'm sorry?
Will that work for you guys?
Yeah, I just want to, yeah, as long as we get the bid signed and the change signed, I think it takes away that threat of the $25,000.
Yeah, by the 28th,
Huh?
By Thursday.
by Thursday.
By Thursday, yes.
So I'll make a motion that we award the bid for the fire truck to Hoosier Fire Equipment in the amount of $1,058,298 with the addition, with the additional change order to add $8,522 for a total of $1,066,820.
I'll second.
Motion seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous. Thank you. We can get moving on that and stay within our 30 days so it doesn't cost us an extra $10,000 more dollars.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Next up are bills. Do you want me to stop for a second, Rose?
Nope.
I don't want to go
Thank you,
too
Mike.
far, so. Okay, next up are bills. Lisa.
All right. I'll make a motion to pay all accounts payable in the amount of $323,884.53 from the allowance of accounts payable vouchers dated 3/26/24 for checks.
Second.
Motion seconded. Further discussion. All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous.
I'll make a motion to pay all accounts payable in the amount of $906,870.78 from the allowance of accounts payable vouchers dated 3/26/24 for EFT payments.
Motion seconded. Further discussion. All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous.
I'll make a motion to pay all accounts payable except overtime in the amount of $269,162.27, plus overtime in the amount of $8,003.77, for a total of $277,166.04 for the pay file dated ending 3/8/24.
Second.
Motion seconded. Further discussion. All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous.
And I'll make a motion to pay all accounts payable in the amount of $3,462.87 from the allowance of accounts payable vouchers dated 3/26/24 for meter deposits and credits.
Second.
Motion seconded. Further discussion. All those in favor show by the usual sign. It is unanimous. Thank you. Department head reports. Sean.
Okay, well, we recently called in locates for the tree board. All the trees except for one outstanding tree that was extremely tall that we weren't able to reach with our bucket. We have one gentleman that thinks he can do it, so we'll see. But so you'll see locates for all the people that had trees removed. We'll be out. We'll grind the stump. We will then remove all those grindings. We will bring back fresh dirt, sifted dirt, and then we will seed and straw. And so you will have nice new grass there hopefully this summer. So I'll start working on that in the next couple of weeks, depending on weather, obviously. We're still out at Bear Road, plugging away, replacing all the poles on Bear Road. Now we're down to under a dozen of them, so guys are still plugging away on that. Also, so we did get our fiber splicing equipment that we ordered. The last time we had fiber spliced, the bill for the splicing itself was over $7,000. We were able to purchase the equipment for just over $15,000 with all the tools we needed to splice. We received that a couple weeks ago. Today, Terry and I and Brad Wygent all took turns training. Chip watched us. We took turns working with the equipment and familiarizing ourselves because we have an official training coming up, and I didn't want to go into a blind. So actually, we did probably at least 10 or 15 fiber splices just with our own training and YouTube videos. So it's gonna be highly advantageous when we have a fiber outage to have our own equipment. We're still waiting on stuff from last summer to get fixed, so yeah, pretty excited about that. It was an interesting day there. Chip and I attended the IMPA annual meeting last week and talked a little bit about the future. At IMPA, it's good. Prices are down for natural gas, so that's gonna help with our electric costs. So the tracker should be coming down this next quarter, we'll see. So that was good news. Other than that, we had someone coming in, Hoff, come in and they dielectric test our trucks every year and do a mechanical test on our bucket trucks and our derrick trucks every year just to make sure they're safe. We did pass every truck, a few mechanical things that we were able to fix, but other than that, they all passed with flying colors, and that, I thank you guys for, letting us get really good equipment, and our mechanic and our guys for taking care of it, so. Other than that, it says on my report that IU men's basketball isn't really good, so. Do you have any questions?
Okay. But the women are going to the Sweet 16, so we're in good shape. Questions, Sean? Thank you. Chip?
Yes, I'd like to honor Sean. He was a honor roll member for the IMPA and won an award, and so I thought that was really neat. I think that's the only reason he wanted me to come, so I could take pictures of him at IMPA. But Eagle Park is moving. We've got all the structures, all the pipe. We're hoping to start on that within the next week and a half. And Schinkel Construction will be starting on that within the next couple weeks. So going forward with that, we had a little hiccup with Westgate subdivision, but that all got cleared up. Thank you, Mayor. And that should be starting in the very near future. And other than that, just keeping my head above water.
Questions of Chip? Thank you. Gary?
We completed our server migration for Spillman, and we had very little issues, so that went smoothly, and I know Terry was pretty concerned about that, hoping it wasn't going to put us down for too long. In an effort to educate and promote safety to new drivers, we partnered with Whitley County Driving School and gave them some pointers on following the rules of the road, traffic stops, emergency vehicles, and safe driving behavior. We have several officers doing OPO right now, and that was funded through a grant through Indiana Criminal Justice Institute.
Which is? OPO is?
Operation Pullover.
Thank you.
Miss Anderson from Whitco Career Academy brought several students in for a tour of the police department. We had lunch with them. I want to thank Toby Freilich from the fire department for certifying all of our officers in CPR. So all of our guys are good for another 2 years. Shane and the shift leads attended a leadership training last week, and they said it was a great training and they enjoyed going to it.
Questions of Gary? Thank you. Kelly?
Just a reminder to anybody wanting leaf mulch, there's been people back there getting a lot of it, so it's probably gonna go quick as the weather keeps warming up, so just heads up to anybody that's looking for any of that. We've had a applicant for 50/50 sidewalk. Got locates called in on that. Waiting for him to do his driveway behind the sidewalk so we can match up to that. And then I think Mike's working their crews down on Ellsworth and Chauncey, and when they get that buttoned up, then we'll start on that portion of the sidewalk between Ellsworth and Spencer, pouring that back in-house. We'll be doing that. And then this is the week that we have to clean up the cemetery and get ready before Good Friday. So we got crew down there trimming, getting ready for mowing season, and fixing graves and low spots, things like that. So the camera truck came to a halt. We've had a little glitch in the software. Cody has been working on that, trying to get it back, and we think we got it addressed, so.
Good.
Hopefully next week we can resume that. That's it for now.
Questions of Kelly? Thank you. Tom?
I think I sent out a thing to the Board of Works that we did make a contingent offer of employment to a candidate that's being sent April 12th to Indianapolis to finish up the rest of his testing to see if he can get into the pension. If he does, then we'll make that a full offer of employment. So just to follow up on that. We did get a quote. Let me back up on that. I put in money in the budget last year to fix the facade of the firehouse because it's been 20-some years since that was done, and it was starting to look a little shaggy. The west side vehicles have, I don't know how, but they have went in between telephone posts and scraped the side of the vehicle in a couple, or side of the building in a couple spots. I was gonna fix up the facade of the firehouse. Well, as we started discussing the possibilities of a fire territory and they had a facility inspection done, it was pointed out that our roof needed some attention and we needed new windows in the firehouse. So no sense of fixing a facade until you get those two things fixed because you're gonna tear up the facade anyway. So we're looking to have those issues addressed and then next year put back in the budget to have the facade fixed up. So just a little posting on that. We just spent the guys just spent a whole week of doing vehicle extrications. Thanks to Smith Towing for bringing down vehicles each day, and so we could use those to cut apart and keep the guys trained up on doing vehicle extrications. US 30 is a big hot spot for things that happen, and it's important that we stay up on that technology as vehicles progress. So does our training has to as well. And then April is going to be a focus on live fire, so April 10th will be a full day of live burn training down at the Fire Museum and the training facility. So, and then there's another one coming up in May that we'll set up in the evening so that more of the volunteers can attend. They're welcome to attend the 10th as well, but most of the time they're unable to do so due to daytime shifts. I'd also, on that vehicle extrication thing, kind of like to put a shout out to Paul Davis and Smiths. Paul Davis gave us a very reduced price to bring in temporary fencing so that we could keep people out of that area because we make jagged edges on vehicles and kids like to play around on that stuff, so.
Question of the Tom. Tom, I do have a question. Rosie has the quote over here for the roofing. Are you wanting that approved tonight, or you want to wait till the next meeting?
If we could go ahead and get that approved, yes. I apologize. That I was thinking council, but is that a Board of Works thing? Sorry.
So this will handle, this is just the roofing part, not the window part, correct?
Right. That's just the roof part, not the window part.
Right.
The 48 to 6,200, depending on how deep they have to go to repair that.
Okay. At least I don't mean to keep you out of this conversation, so I figured, okay. So, yeah, perimeter of the roof is raised as before. Your feel is fair, penetrations are poor, roof drainage is fair. Is this a roof you can see outside of Beth's office?
No.
Or is that City Hall?
That's City Hall.
It's the other side of the divider.
Yeah, you walk down Beth's hallway.
That's what I thought, yep.
You be through the doors, I know.
Membrane, voids and splits, yeah.
And if you want, I can forward to all of you, the gentleman that made that proposal also, or that bid, also took pictures of all the areas he's talking about repairing, and
That's better than I thought it was.
Yeah.
it's a
I'm
pretty,
sorry.
there's a whole report that goes along with that I sent, Rosie actually has a copy
It's
of it.
Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're looking at right now
Okay.
then, yeah.
And what was
Yeah.
that quote again?
6,200,
Yeah, a maximum not to exceed. of
a not to
62.
exceed of 6,200, okay, okay. So basically, it's he gets up there, they get up there, whoever, and they work on their stuff, and then whatever kind of cost, and So you'll be overseeing that, or somebody in your department will be watching over that to make sure they're doing what they need to do?
Yes, if I'm not here or at vacation, I spoke with Kyle Francis about it, and he's also very well aware of it.
Okay.
Actually, it's better than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
I know it's a lot of money, but it's still, after you do roofing on anything that size, I was expecting things to be a little higher.
Well, so that was gonna be my follow-up question is I'm assuming that this individual is a professional that does this is their livelihood, all that kind of thing.
Correct.
They've been properly vetted.
Correct. His company actually oversees a bunch of other contractors, and then he makes sure that they bring it up to a spec, and that they're doing exactly what he said they should be, and not billing more hours than what it should take.
Say what?
Are they insured?
Well, that's why I want you to take a look at it, so. Okay, we're gonna come back to that while Marcia's reviewing, okay? And then we'll come back to that, okay? Is that okay? Okay, Matt?
We've got all the sports fields up and going. We've got the tennis court nets up. We had to do that a little bit early because the middle school practices and has matches down there. We got the pool motor back. We're having a little bit of problems installing that. We're gonna have the company that redid it come back up and help install that. Baseball and softball drafts are done and practice begins. Some of them will begin during spring break. Most of them start practicing after that. Of course, everybody's seeing the grass grow, so we're gonna be doing that soon. Eagle Park was getting staked out the day I wrote this. So that's hopefully gonna move forward like Chip said. We had to repump the pool out because the float inside the surge tank went bad, and so we had to do that to keep that water level where we want it. We put the shade structures back up around the quad, which is the 4 baseball fields there.
Yep.
A couple years ago, we had those, well, we didn't have them made. Kenny, oh shoot, I can't think of his last name. But anyway, he got Cellrite, and Cellrite gave him all the materials for that
Okay.
and put them up. So,
And that's a safety protection kind of thing for the
correct.
resident.
Yeah. It helps a lot with foul balls.
Yeah.
And then, it does provide some shade.
Yeah.
Or a place for people to go. We've got them about half up, and then we've got, as of today, we got all the bathrooms reopened. And we're getting the concession stand ready to be pulled down and get rehooked back up, so that can be started to be stocked and ready to go for our first tournament is April 19th, I believe.
Okay. Okay. Questions on Matt? Thank you, Matt. Appreciate, by the way, the park board meeting being publicized or on live streamed last night on our City of Columbia City page, correct? So.
Correct, yep.
That's positive. That's very positive. And ultimately, as you all know, we are moving that direction with all of our boards and commissions. So appreciate you guys being a little bit of a guinea pig in that. So. Terry.
The firewall certificate was installed 2 Sundays ago, and the network time being down was only about 20 minutes, so we were really happy about that. As far as the Spillman server migration went, like Gary said, it went well. I have to commend Motorola. They've got a great team and along with Gina doing a lot of work in the back office portion of it, it went way smoother than I thought it would. It was pretty exciting.
That's great.
We're still working on the fiber repair at Northwest Sub. We got to get the fiber ordered for that, and then we'll pull the fiber out of the pipe and put new in. We've got some fiber break in between Any Kids Dreamland and Northwest Sub that we've got to track down and figure out where that's at. At this time, it's only affecting the video network, nothing else. Finished the work on the new Buffalo storage unit, so we'll have get that hooked up to the NVRs and have more storage space for our camera systems so we can move out past 10 or 12 days. Equipment's ordered for public Wi-Fi at Any Kids Dreamland, so we're hoping that won't take too long to get in so we can get that installed and get up and running. And that's all.
Questions of Terry? Thank you. Mike?
I believe we'll have Chauncey Street done next Tuesday, if everything goes right. We just have to go across Ellsworth now, and then across Chauncey, and so we'd like to be done Thursday, but I'm gonna push it to Tuesday just because, we got a lot of cleanup to do down there.
Sure, sure. That won't be full repave, but at least the stone will be back in and that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then they can start on the sidewalks.
gotcha. Okay. Kelly, you have something to
I
add?
did meet with Mike from Niblock
Yeah.
today on those patches and several other ones, so he's aware of those.
The coming patches of that segments?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Questions on Mike? Okay, thanks, Mike. Mike?
Our influent flow meter should be up and running tomorrow. We're scheduled to come in and put the new equipment in. Steel Dynamics Force Main has been cleaned for the first quarter of this year. UV system, they fired the bulb last Friday and the first sample came out today. It came out perfect, so we're
Great.
good there. And then I'll be out on Thursday at a seminar.
Questions on Mike? Thank you, Mike. Marcia, do you want us to table that?
I have some, okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I think you were talking about it, but so you hire this company, they've got a product, but then they sub it out to somebody once they approve that you're hiring this company?
This guy oversees other companies. I got the name from Troy because evidently they've done work on City Hall and the Parks Department.
Right, but my understanding is they're not the ones doing the work.
They're the contractor who's hiring people to do the work.
This guy gets a hold of the roofing companies and says, here's your price range, here's the work, you need to do this.
Right, but there's nothing in here on them being insured, that they've got to sign our required
Documents and forms.
documents that they have to sign.
Okay.
And I don't really actually see,
He's done
An
2
agreement.
roofs for us.
Okay.
He done the main plant.
Yeah.
And then also well 8, just
Okay.
recently.
Okay.
So
So
I'm
I-
just saying that he's done business for us.
yeah, and I don't know that there's an agreement that's signed, because this seems to be just sort of a letter.
Yeah, I was just wanting to be able to move the money to have my roof fixed.
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't we do this? Why don't we put it on pause and get an actual contract or something from him that we'll bring up to the next Board of Works meeting, if you're okay with that. It doesn't sound like it's in a rush. In the meantime, I think it would be appropriate to also go to the council and just get the blessing of, instead of doing this, we'd like to do this because this is more of a need, okay? And then kind of plan to do this Board of Works, assuming council approves. Does that sound fair? Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
because what they have is a letter saying this, well, if everything's fine with me, but I don't know what I'm reviewing,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I have nothing,
Okay.
except for the ruined comp time.
No, you're fine. I just need my roof fixed at the end of the day.
Yeah, which it sounds like they set the price, get the subs, and get it done.
Right.
But I think the city still needs a few things to make sure
Just
that,
to make sure we've covered
first of all,
our
that the
bases.
subs are insured. I mean, I think that's probably your biggest issue
Sure.
over everything.
Sure.
Yeah.
Rosie?
I don't know.
I don't have anything except to say, Gene, Craig was already here and left, so you and me maybe can touch base after this meeting about next steps, okay? Yes, yeah, he was already here and left, so we'll touch base after this and we'll try to get squared away, okay? Dan? Lisa, anything else from the audience? We have no press, so we'll call the meeting adjourned. Council will start at 6:05.